Airboat Association. After starting the website back in 2008, the forum becoming more popular, I've started to receive phone calls. And over the years, the number of phone calls keep increasing. It was mentioned a few times that I should write a book. I started a book about 3 years ago, but every time I try to keep on a subject, explaining something, I wander off and onto another topic. So basically what I have is about 200 or so pages of notes. Some time ago, I was watching some welding videos on YouTube, and I came up with the idea to start posting some videos of my own. In these videos, I hope to explain what a mini is and what it takes to make these low horsepower engines work on an airboat. What is a mini airboat? You probably wouldn't notice the difference between a mini airboat and a full-size airboat. Many times we use the same size hulls. I wanted to get a video up to explain what my plans are for these videos. I'm putting together a studio where I'll have a chalkboard that I can draw illustrations about what I'm talking about. This may be helpful in trying to explain some of this stuff. Once the channel's established and I have enough viewers, I plan on also doing some live broadcasts, probably after an episode airs. This will allow viewers to ask questions about what we just saw and get more detailed information on any questions they may have about the video. These videos will be on Ustream. When we get to that point, I'll put up a link that will not change, and all my live broadcasts will be at that link. In these videos, I'll be referring to aluminum hulls for the most part, because in the area where I live and where I ride in the Susquehanna River, we use aluminum hulls. Fiberglass hull just wouldn't be feasible to use because of all the rocks we have here. I'll be picking a subject or topic for each video, and hopefully I'll stick to that topic for the whole video. I'll try not to stray off, but it's hard sometimes to stay right on topic because so many things are tied into each other as far as the performance of the boat. As I said, the largest obstacle we have in a mini airboat is the weight. We try to build our hulls as light as possible so they float higher in the water. The higher in the water they float, the less horsepower it takes to get it on plane. If you're interested in a mini airboat, the first thing you want to decide is, of course, whether you want to build one or buy one. The things you need to know that other people can't help you with is what you will be using the boat for in your running conditions. There's two kinds of boats. You have a ride boat where you just get in the boat and go for a ride. There isn't much moving around the boat once you get in the boat. Then you have the fishing boat or bow fishing rig, which you need a little bit more room to move around the boat. You need more room, especially when bass fishing, when you have a partner with you and you're casting a lure, hundreds of times a day. You don't want to be so close to each other that you're going to hook somebody in the air. A ride boat is going to be shorter than a fishing boat or a bow fishing boat. A ride boat can be as short as 10 foot. A fishing boat would be from like 12 foot to 14 feet. For a mini airboat, I wouldn't recommend anything over a 14-foot boat. The normal width on these boats is 5 foot. That's 5 foot across the bottom, not counting your chines. We'll get more into chines later in these videos when I get into the specifics of the hulls. You're the only one that knows the conditions, so you have to really decide first off how you're going to use your boat, and then somebody can help you with the design or what boat you need for your use in the area that you're going to run it in. As far as materials, we mainly use aluminum because it's easier to work with. There are fiberglass hulls. It's a lot of work to lay up a mold just to use it once. So cost-wise, aluminum is probably the best material for a mini airboat. But I'm just going over a few things to give you a general idea how we build these mini airboats. Another thing I mentioned along with the weight is the bottom coating. A lot of the bigger airboats use poly on the bottom to protect the bottom. On a mini airboat, we don't use the poly because it adds extra weight. Now poly will displace its own weight. In other words, it'll float in the water if you lay it in the water. But it also adds a few extra pounds to your boat. That means extra thrust to get it up on plane. The motors we use can be anything you have around. Some people use lawnmower engines, some people use a snowmobile engine, some water cooled, and like me, I use a Army surplus air-cooled engine. There aren't many small engines out there that'll spin a prop fast enough and big enough to make enough thrust to get a mini airboat on plane. So if you're choosing, for instance, a lawnmower engine, you're going to need a reduction drive. The reduction drive adds more cost to the boat. I just wanted to go over these few things to get an introduction in and let you know where we're headed with these mini videos. Later on down the road, after I describe the mini airboats and go over all the aspects of building a mini and making it work, I'll be going into other projects like how to make rudders, how to set your rudders up, how to set up your controls, where you need to put your weight in the boat to spread it out. Later on I'll be doing some how-to videos on the engine that I have, the 4A084. It's a Continental Teledyne engine. It's an Army surplus. These engines can be had cheap off of eBay or other auctions. I'm sure I'll have other questions later on that will lead to other videos, but I just wanted to give you a general idea where we're heading. That's about it for today. Until next time, keep sliding.